Hi, welcome back to Outdoor Gear and Skills. Today I wanted to talk about gauze and the importance of having that in your first aid kits. Now, I'm not a paramedic or an EMT. I have done CPR training, AED, some basic first aid. But my friend Gina in Southern Oregon is a paramedic, and last year we were doing some CPR training and then bleed some bleeding training, how to control bleeding with some youth in our community. And Gina had these I don't know if they were kind of ballistic gel squares, but they had holes in them that would mimic like a gunshot wound or getting impaled or having something happen. And a lot of times you see in the movies, someone gets shot, someone whatever, and someone just grabs something and puts it on them. And just like almost everything else in the movies and TV, it's total crap. That doesn't work. And one of the things that Gina showed us, and I'd never seen this in any other first aid training that I had done, but one of the things she showed us is that you have to get gauze and you have to shove it down into that wound and get that packed in there. Just putting something on the surface will not work. So you've got to get that shoved down in there. And one of the things that really shocked me was how much gauze it took to pack into a wound. Even something that's as deep as maybe a couple digits on your finger takes a surprising amount of gauze. And that wasn't really something that I had on my list of stuff for my first aid kits or anything. And a lot of times you think that, maybe you're just kind of using it and then you're wrapping it, or you're using it to wrap some kind of bandage or something on there. And that's not the case. You're trying to get it down in there. So I bought this packet of 30 rolls of gauze. These are 4 inches wide, and they are just over 4 yards long. So they're about 12 feet long, and that's how they look come wrapped. And there's a little bit of tape in here as well. I got these for $12 this box. I think today it's $9 because of Prime Day, if you happen to jump on it quickly. Now, obviously, these little first aid kits I've talked about before, I try to keep at least one of these in every vehicle, just around. So at least I've got a couple of Band-Aids. I've got some super glue. I've got, the small tampons that are wrapped that I've talked about before. So, that's not going to really fit in there. I don't know if maybe, I'm not really going to get that in there. I don't think, even if it's empty, maybe, but I'm not going to be able to fit other stuff in there. And I kind of have to go crossways. So this isn't really intended to go in this, but with these, having something like that, these are wrapped in plastic. I have not messed with these at all. I'm about to start putting them in all my kits. So what I wanted to do was just kind of check and see how easy is it to keep, to get this unpackaged, to be able to use it in a situation. The nice thing is with it being wrapped, I don't know if it's wrapped tight enough to be, leak proof, or, if it could get wet or something, but it is going to keep it clean for sure. And it looks like it's fully wrapped on both ends. So dropping that in your first aid kit is going to be, really valuable. So now what I want to do, that was actually really easy to just kind of twist that and pull it off. So looking at this gauze, as I'm taking this, like I said, it's going to be, about 12 feet in length, but it is easy to unroll. And then what I've got to do is just get that shoved down into the wound, packed in as tight as it can be, and then get some pressure on that. So I'm not, going to use that at this point. This one's, kind of my tester right there. But I've got 29 more in this box, and just after going through that training with Gene and looking at, I was shocked by how much gauze it took, and how just really understanding when you've got a wound just putting that superficial pressure on is not going to work. You really got to do something. I hope none of us get in this situation where you have to use it. You know, I have never had to do CPR on somebody. One of my closest friends has done it multiple times. He did it about 5-6 months ago when someone had an issue out hiking. And so hopefully things like that we don't ever have to do, but just like anything, we want to be prepared in case something happens. So having gauze like that where I can keep it clean and then I can put it in there. It's going to be a lot more difficult if I were trying to, you know, take my shirt off and shove my shirt, you know, in a wound, where I can put this on. Then maybe I take my shirt off and maybe flex a little bit, because I've been going to the gym a little bit, as long as you don't see down here. But you know, then with my shirt I can kind of get some pressure on the surface of that. So $12 if you're watching this video later, but $9 on Amazon Prime, and the brand is Azen, I believe, AZEN, and that's what the box looks like. So for $12 for 30 of these, I think it's a fantastic price, and I'm excited to throw those into my first aid kit. I'd love to hear what you think about this, if you've ever had to use gauze, what your stories are, you know, the applications you've used them and how you felt about that, or if there's anything else that you think is missing from, you know, most people's first aid kits that we ought to be concerned about. As always, thanks for watching Outdoor Gear and Skills, and we'll see you out there.